Today, I would like to talk about not karma. I want to talk about incarnation, and specifically the contract you sign prior to incarnation. Now, there's a thing about contracts and incarnation that for most people that they aren't able to assimilate those two things. Incarnation, how is that even provable? And what's that got to do with a contract? Because I don't remember signing a contract. Well, in life, many things we do involves a contract. When you get a mobile phone, you sign a contract. When you buy a car, you sign a contract. When you buy a house, you sign a contract. When you rent an apartment, you sign a contract. When you get married, you sign a contract. When you get divorced, you sign a contract. When you get a job, you sign a contract. When you sign on a film, you sign a film contract. You sign a modeling contract. When you become a spokesperson in advertising, you sign a contract. When you go to school, you sign a contract. When you get insurance, you sign a contract. All of these things in life are important enough to have a contract. But when you say to somebody, when you get a body, there's no contract. When you're handed over an entire life, a journey on the earth, why would there be a contract? Doesn't make any sense. Of course there's a contract. Where do contracts come from? Who invented a contract? Was it just out of thin air, or did it come from another dimension? That residual memory of something, and then, hey, when you buy this piece of land, you have to sign a contract, a deed. Has anybody heard of the Ark of the Covenant? Well, covenant means contract. So why would 2,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago, why would the invisible man on another dimension say, you have a covenant with me? The Ark of the Covenant. There is a covenant. So there's a covenant. There's a spiritual covenant between the people and their maker. There's a covenant between you and your house. There's a covenant between you and your phone. There's a covenant between you and your spouse. You and your job. Okay. So it's not much of a stretch, and it shouldn't be a big stretch, to say that before you're born, before you're handed over a body, whatever that body is, whatever that life journey is, you got a contract. Now, in that contract, it stipulates what you are here to do. You mean, Paris, I'm not here to do whatever I want? You mean that democracy is not the only governing body in my life? You mean free will is not what it's been pretended or intended to be? No. Well, there is an earth, and there is a body on the earth, and there is a contract associated with this body. The contract stipulates what you came here to do. The question is, what is on your contract? Because most people have never been aware that there was an incarnation contract. Some people have referred to it as a soul contract. I call it an incarnation contract, that the incarnation process is a very advanced process. I think it's a technological process, and I'll be talking more about that as we go along. But it is an agreement that we will give you this body for this purpose or these purposes. So you have a purpose on the earth, and it's stipulated in the contract. Well, most often the contract is not handed to you. I think sometimes it could be the case, depending on your karmic cycle. Your karma, right? Your karma determines what kind of contract you get, right? It's just like if I went to a company to get a high-level job, they would offer me a very bad contract based on my qualification. If somebody more qualified went to that same company, they'd get a better contract based on their experience and their qualification. Prior to incarnation, your qualification and experience is a derivation of your karma. Karma itself is a crystallization of all your experience, your learning. What did you learn when you went to the last school? Now, if you had lots of learning and you had lots of experience and understanding and wisdom, all things that we don't value in modern society, then you can negotiate a pretty good contract. If, on the other hand, you have a lot of karmic debt and you're very muddled, and you're very confused, they're just going to give you another contract off the shelf to try to see if you can fix that. You'll be reborn into the same world until you learn what you were supposed to learn on your contract. And I think that's an important part of this purpose. Whatever's on the contract has an association to learning. So you are going to do these things. You're going to take these actions in the world because they will foster the learning that you want. So I think that's key. You've come here to learn, but you just can't learn. You learn through experience. So I want this life because I want to learn that. And I want to do this in this life. I want to learn that. And I want to experience these things because I want to learn that. So your purpose on the earth may be an action, right? Maybe to be somebody, to do something. But underlying that action is a learning. This is, I think, is a step that we need to more practice on. Because a lot of people are trying to figure out what's my purpose, right? Why am I here? Why am I here? What's my purpose? The other thing is, what am I to learn from those purposes, right? Because you're not just here to experience something, you're here to learn from your experience. Now it's starting to rain. It's wet. So, you can see it's sunny and raining. So there's a so there's a sorry, that's better. Oh, so there's an incarnation contract. There's a purpose stipulated on the contract, and there quite often there's going to be multiple purposes, multiple things you will do over the course of your life. Phase A, you will do this, and in the middle part of your life, you will do that, and the other part of your life, you will do this. And there will be contingencies within your contract, such that the success on this phase will affect your choice of a next phase. Right? So you have this idea of things are dependent upon one another. So if you want to learn the advanced thing, you need to be successful in your earlier phases, your earlier promises. Now, if along the way you get derailed, which a lot of people do, they get derailed, they fall off course, or fall off the path, then that could prevent your learning at the end of your life, right? That could prevent the final realization. Now, what that means is, if you don't fulfill the contract, you have to come back. You come back wiser, you come back smarter, you come back as an old soul. But it could indicate that you failed to learn what you were obligated to learn in your previous life. Now, this is all tied into the fact that the false reality is designed to throw you off track, right? To lead you into temptation, to force you to make bad decisions, and that bad decision will have a ripple effect, will have a domino effect. That you'll have one bad decision, and then you miss your other opportunity, and then your other opportunity, the door will close. So the false reality is designed so that you don't complete what you came here to complete. That means you have to come back. And also the karmic debt you accrue because if you're not following the right path, that will also send you back, and it might send you back in a worse position. But the Incarnation Contract also insinuates that you are not here by accident. Which some people might feel that. It's like, I shouldn't be here. This is the wrong life. This is the wrong thing. That could be because of your previous life, things didn't go so well. And there's some things you just are refusing to learn, and you're being put in a situation where you're going to have to learn it. So whatever your situation, whatever your difficulty or trauma, that is in the contract. And it's there because you need to learn something. So sometimes, looking at a difficult situation, if you can figure out what it is you're supposed to learn from it, that might alleviate it. That might move you forward. So remember I said sometimes you can fall off track because of the way reality is designed, and people are tempted and they're karmically inclined. But if you can understand the learning, what you came here to learn, you could actually skip forward. I think a heightened individual, a spiritual individual, who understands this process intimately, can go into a situation, learn from it, and take a leap forward. Right? They can go in a difficult situation, do the right thing, because they understand, take that learning, and leap forward, and leap forward. So, a spiritual person could live out many karmic lives. It's really wet. In one lifetime. And vice versa, a person who is not aware, doesn't believe in this contract and the purpose, and they're very angry and confused, they might miss all these opportunities, and they might get stuck in a karmic cycle. And the purpose of life is to fulfill your contract. You have to fulfill your contract because you signed your contract. And that means understanding what you came here to do.